Dear sports parents, hi, I am Dr Swaroop, mental conditioning peak performance coach, and I welcome you to today's topic that I am sure is going to help your child about discipline. And that word itself is a very dreaded word, isn't it? Whenever we talk about discipline, we maybe remember our times. And when we compare this, our time, what we had, the kind of discipline that our parents made us go through, our maybe school teachers made us go through. And when we compare it to today's world, then we almost feel that our children are really very lucky on that front, right? And today, therefore, I feel that we will need to start looking at discipline in itself from a very different context. Let us first look at discipline. What is discipline? Discipline in a way is something that we want a person to go on that particular path, maybe force him to, whether he likes it or not. Why? Because we know what is good for that child, which maybe the child does not at that moment of time, in that moment in time. And that's why we need to discipline our child. Maybe that's why when we were small, we were disciplined about a certain thing. And did we like it at that time when we were disciplined? Absolutely not. We did not like it. But now, today, when we look back at it, we realize that yes, that was important to us. But this wisdom that we have got has come today. Did it come at that time? No, that time we hated it. Today, our children are of course also going to hate us for disciplining them. But what is the basic difference between the discipline that we needed to have over there versus the discipline that we needed to have over here? Why is it that we feel we are struggling more than maybe what our parents did? And maybe we will all agree that that is happening. And I think so. The reason is that today we have to discipline our child on too many things which that time maybe we did not have. And what is the reason? The reason is simple. Today's world, there are even more temptations that the child inherently likes to do which he should not be doing, or maybe he needs to be more disciplined about. In our times, as when we were children, at that time our parents needed to discipline us, but there were few distractions which they had to worry about, right? And today there are too many distractions, and therefore the difficulty is, are we going to keep shouting at our kids? Is, I think so, a question that most parents ask me, sir, how many things should we tell them? And it almost becomes frustrating. And that is the reason we will need to change our perspective. Change our perspective from discipline to self-discipline. For example, today as parents, as adults, we will need to discipline ourselves or self-discipline ourselves about our eating. Okay? So that's a common thing that we need to do. But you will realize that when you self-discipline yourself about eating, is it difficult? Yes, it is difficult. What does it do? It takes up a lot of your mental energy. You will realize if you have to prevent something that you like to do, it eats up in your mental energy. There is an effort that is required. You have to talk to yourself, you have to tell yourself, you have to hold on to your instinct or your cravings or that desire at that moment of time, and that is difficult to do. Why this is important for you to know is for you to understand that just as it is difficult for you to self-discipline yourself, it is difficult for children to discipline themselves. It is difficult because the distractions, the desires, as your distraction, as that temptation that you have about that food, that child is going to have the distraction about so many things today. Yes, he is facing a problem. Yes, and believe me, I have talked to a lot of students and athletes for me to know that children also realize that they are feeling that desperation to get away from that temptation, but they just succumb to it because the distractions are such, they are so tempting, they are so alluring, they are so much pulling them towards that it is difficult for them. And therefore, we will need to teach them self-discipline. Remember, It is an art that needs to be learned. It is a mental skill that they would need to learn. What will they do to their mind to change that habit, to make that transformation, to stop those tempting thoughts, to control that emotion at that moment of time is a skill. It's a mental skill. And my focus with today's athletes is to help them be disciplined, because if they will be self-disciplined on the other things, they will find it to be self-disciplined and to be disciplined and to be focused in their game. But if they are distracted in the outside world, they are going to find it difficult to focus in the game. And therefore, for me, that is a very important skill that I work with athletes. And even with my mental coach, it is my endeavor through these sessions to help the child learn the steps to self-discipline.